Okay, so the second part of what we need to look at today is what are known as similar figures. So similar figures are figures that have the same shape but different sizes. So we're talking about two triangles or two rectangles, but not a triangle and a rectangle at the same time. In similar figures, the corresponding sides are going to be proportional. Well, what does it mean to be corresponding? Corresponding parts are the angles or the sides in the same position in similar figures. So if we're talking about two triangles, we're talking about the bottom of both of those triangles. If we're talking about rectangles, we're talking about the short side of the rectangles. We want the sides that are doing the same thing. So let's look at an example. Here are two triangles. They're telling you the figures are similar. They're asking you to find the letter X. So when we're talking about corresponding parts, I'm talking about how the 2 is going up and down, the 6 is going up and down. 5 is going left, right, X is going left, right. They're the parts of those triangles that are doing the same thing. So what that means is I can set up a proportion, and that's how I'm going to find X. So match up the parts. The 2 matches with the 6. There's one fraction. The 5 matches with the X. And so wherever your X ends up, it shouldn't matter because we're going to cross multiply. 2 times X. 6 times 5 makes 30. And we're going to divide by 2. So in this case, X would equal 15. And because in the picture it gave me measurement, this one was inches, I'm going to put inches. If they didn't give you a unit, that's okay, but because there's one, I'm going to use it. So in this case, X is 15 inches. Here's another one. This one's rectangles. So again, we just want to match up the pieces that match. So think about how a rectangle has a short side and a long side. The fact that the X is on the left side and the 4 is on the right side doesn't matter. Remember, the left and right sides in rectangles are the same. So the X matches with the 4. The 3.5 matches with the 7. When you're setting up your fractions, just make sure, I always tend to put the first shape over the second shape. You just want to make sure both of your fractions do the same thing. So because I did X over 4, I have to say 3.5 over 7. I can't put the 7 on top. If I'm back here, I'm going to cross multiply 7x. 4 times 3.5 is actually 14, which works nicely because that means when I divide by 7, I get 2. And if I look at my picture, this is centimeters, so let's add centimeters. And let's do one more. If you want to try number 3, go ahead and hit pause on the video. And if we're ready, I'm going to go ahead and run through the answer. So in this picture, my 12 matches with the 8. And the X matches with the 6. If you have the X with the 6 first and then the 12 and the 8 as the second fraction, that's fine. It doesn't matter which fraction is first or second. 8 times X. 12 times 6 is 72. And when I divide, that means X equals 9. And if I look at my picture, they have a unit of inches, so let's put those inches in. So those are similar figures. Instead of it being a word problem, you're setting your proportion up from a set of pictures.